Prof, good to see you as always. What do you make of the decision by the ANC in KZN to send Gumede to the provincial legislature, even though she's got a massive corruption case that's yet to be concluded?
Well, it's quite surprising. It's quite surprising, not only because she has all these charges against her, but also because of the province that is involved here. The KZN leadership, especially the secretary, Nduli, has been saying all the nice things, taking a strong stance on ethical leadership, showing a great deal of intolerance against individuals who are charged or accused at least of corruption. And so for the KZN leadership now to do this is extremely surprising, because one was beginning to see a sense that you have provincial leaders that seem to be supporting the president's call for renewal. The Northwest leadership, Zamani Sol, David Makura in Gauteng, and KZN was part of that trio of leaders who are taking a big stance on ethical leadership. So for them to have done what they've done now in the case of Zandile Gumede is quite surprising, but I think it indicates a lot of things.
And there's been chatter today, Prof, about how the Zandile Gumede move perhaps has more to do with internal ANC dynamics in KwaZulu-Natal rather than the broader issues about the party's messaging on corruption, because we know we're dealing now with the various PPE scandals linked to COVID-19. When you look at the dynamic then that has to do with her supposed influence in ANC circles in KwaZulu-Natal, it takes us back to the debate about party versus country. Do you think there will ever actually come a time when the ANC as a whole is able to put country before party?
Well, you see, Tebegile, it says a number of things. Firstly, it tells us that wrongdoing and corruption should not be individualized or personalized. Gumede is accused of all manner of things, embezzlement of funds. And what we should always be careful not to do is to think that all the money that she's accused of having stolen went to her. What this tells you is that there is a network of benefactors or beneficiaries from the embezzled funds. So when you're not just accusing Gumede, but you are accusing a whole network that is part of this corruption. And so the fact that she is now brought back tells you that she still has a lot of support within the PEC in that part of the world. And, you know, even though, for instance, let's assume that Mtumiseni Nduli did not necessarily want her back, but the point is she still has a lot of followers within the PEC, within the province as a whole, that then tells you that the accusations against her of embezzlement don't just implicate her, but implicate a whole lot of people. So these people are trying to protect themselves and also ensuring that one of their own is not prosecuted unfairly. So it's a tall order. It just tells you the kind of resistance that ethical leaders who are keen on improving the ANC will face. That, you know, it's not just a question of saying people are going to be prosecuted, of saying that things are going to be done properly, but in you trying to do things properly, you are going to come up a huge fight of people who are determined that things are not corrected within the ANC. So this is just, you know, an indication of that you are facing a network, and that network is determined to make sure that things remain as they are. They remain in a mess.
And I want to pick up on a line from the ANC KZN statement this afternoon to read it to you. It says, as a firm believer in women empowerment, the ANC KZN is confident that Kader or Comrade Gumede, with her experience, is a worthwhile addition to the legislature. You wonder then, it is important for women to be represented fairly in these positions of power, but was there no other woman who's equally as qualified but does not have a criminal cloud or allegations hanging over her head?
Well, I mean, frankly, she was a mediocre mayor. She did serve as a mayor. She was given a leadership position, mayor of eThekwini. And she did a terrible mess there as a mayor. In her tenure, actually, eThekwini went back. There were clear instances of regression. Things were not done properly, and all those inadequacies were visible. And that's partly the reason why the ANC did badly in eThekwini, mainly because of a bad leadership. So you're not just talking of a leader here who deserves a second shot because of a proven record of competence. No, even as a leader, she was incompetent. And added to that, you have allegations of corruption. I mean, Gumede, most people in KZN, and at least clear-thinking, objective people, look at her as some kind of a warlord, right? She doesn't have a good record. So in not appointing her, you would not have done a blow or delivered a blow against affirming women. Surely, there are many competent women in KZN, right, who could have been appointed into this position. But her as a person judged purely on merit, is completely undeserving of this appointment.
Lastly, do you expect there to be any consequences for the ANC beyond the public outrage?
Well, this is the ANC we're talking about. I don't know. It looks like she's been appointed already. And so one would have thought that before she was appointed, there would have been a lengthy process of discussion, consultation, that this is wrong. And yet she has been appointed. So I don't know if they can reverse this. I mean, for it to have happened, for the appointment to have happened to start with, for me, is shocking. Especially coming from the KZN of the last year or so. I mean, Zandile Gumede is on TV, on radio almost every day, talking up KZN, about how well things are and how he wants to change KZN. And yet to have this undeserving person, a suspected warlord, being sworn in as a representative of government, of the legislature, is just embarrassing. So I don't know if it will change. It should not have happened to start with. Whether it will change, I don't know. You can never know with the ANC these days.
Professor MPL, good to speak to you. Thank you.